everyone, and welcome to the Bandit's new temporary den. Well, I highly doubt very many people will watch this. As I've been inactive for so long, there's really no continuity to my channel anymore. So, I'll figure that out eventually. For now, while I'm in this temporary den, I'm gonna, I don't know, be relatively dormant maybe, I don't know. I don't really have full use of this property like I would something I own myself, because I'm just renting while I go, oh, what's up with this? Oh, okay. I'm just renting while I look for properties kind of in the area. I haven't really started looking yet because I signed a year lease, so I have some time before I start really seriously looking at stuff. But I've been in this new place for a month now, and I would like to talk with all of you who do care, that are still here for some fucking reason. I would like to talk about my experiences, because I've never done anything like this before. And, it was kind of scary when I first jumped into it, because I was going into the unknown. And that's one of many things that I'm really grateful for, being given pretty much a second chance at life, because those of you who have been around for a while probably saw how bad I was getting. Some people afterwards said, oh yeah, I was fucking worried about you, like, you were not doing well. And that's correct. I was not doing well. And somebody helped me out. I got a second chance at this, and I'm involved in groups that help me stay on the straight and narrow. It's all voluntary and stuff, right? But I've been able to stay on the straight and narrow, right? I got licensed in my career choice, and fuck, man. When I first got licensed, I was like, damn, the world is my oyster now. And that was when I was still in that relationship, right? So I'm like, shit, I can do all kinds of stuff. Well, that chick ended up leaving because, kind of like they say, women enter relationships thinking, oh, everything is going to change one day, and guys get into relationships thinking, oh, everything's going to be just the same it is now, and it's going to continue on like that. Well, we had a disagreement. I was like, well, we had agreements, and she's like, well, everything should change. And I'm like, I don't like that. I don't like being asked to change every single one of the things that I agreed on in the first place, and therefore completely changing my expectations. That's not what I signed up for. And she was like, oh, well, I signed up for somebody who has plasticity. I'm like, well, I don't know where that came from, but that's not me. And so she ended up leaving. Which is a whole fucking story there and afterward that I could go on forever about my frustrations about things, but that's not really what this video is about. So, she left. I was making 130 grand a year, working on building a government assisted building, I guess, government funded building. And so I was making Davis-Bacon, $46 an hour, 50 plus hour weeks. So I was getting a pretty penny. Well, that chick I was that was living in my house for less than a year, was vehemently against Bitcoin. I shouldn't have ever listened to anybody but myself concerning investment, right? But as soon as she left, I dumped all of my extra income, right? I dumped all of my extra income that I had, which was a fuck ton, because chicks are expensive. They're like 3 times more expensive than what I require to live on. It's crazy. So I had all this fucking money, and it was adding up in my account. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck to do with all this. I was like, well, you know, she was vehemently against Bitcoin, and this whole time I've been wanting to buy Bitcoin, but didn't have the money for it, even though I was making 130 grand a year. So I just started dumping my money in Bitcoin. And, you know, I have a pretty penny in Bitcoin now. And then on top of that, I was sitting on a property that, it went up by a good margin from what I originally bought it at. So pretty much all the money I ever put into it, including interest and principal payments, and even my escrow for taxes and insurance, I'm getting back out. I got back out of it, which is nice. It's like a glorified savings account, I guess it turned out to be. I didn't make money off of it per se, but all the money I put into it over the years, I got back. So I sold it privately. You won't find it on Zillow or anywhere. I didn't have it listed anywhere. And that's because there's somebody out there that probably thinks they're owed a chunk, even though they had nothing to do with obtaining the property, nothing to do with any of the capital put down on it, nothing to do with any of the capital put into investing in shit like the wall I had built in the backyard. Had nothing to do with being able to hold on to the property long term, had nothing to do with any of it, or any of the improvements to give it increased value. But I had a hunch that this person would see that figure online and be like, oh, I'm owed some of that. So I opted to privately sell it to somebody without ever listing it on the market. And I sold it. I left a little money on the table. But I had to get the fuck out of Albuquerque, dude. That place was getting under my skin. It started getting under my skin 20 years ago, at least 20 years ago. I vividly remember in my teens when it was the first time I remember when somebody asked me, where do you see yourself in 10 years? And I was thinking at the time, I'm going to be old as fuck. I'm way older than that now. But I was thinking, man, I'm going to be old as fuck. How do I even see that far in the future? I'm going to be doing all this crazy adult stuff, I'm sure. No, 10 years into the future, I was reaching the end of my crazy street life, but I was still living it, my crazy, stupid street life. And, but even back then, when I was a teen and somebody asked me that, I did not see myself in Albuquerque in the future. Turned out I was there 10 years into the future, but I didn't see myself there. I didn't want to be there. I wanted what I wanted at the time. I drew this picture, right, with a word soup. I drew this picture how like I wanted to be in a shoreside Mediterranean house somewhere on one of the coasts, somewhere either in the southern United States on the coasts, you know, on the south of either coast, or maybe even in some other country where, you know, it's a warmer than temperate climate where, you know, it's subtropical or tropical. And you know, I wanted this shoreside Mediterranean house, and I specifically wanted a circle window overlooking the beach that I would own some of, right? That had a ledge like this deep or deeper inside of the house that my Asian housewife could sit in, drinking her mocha on Saturday morning while I get up and whatever. This whole fucking pretty picture of what my life was going to look like in 10 years, that's what I drew. But it had nothing to do with Albuquerque. That wasn't even in my mind of like possibilities. Like, ideally, where I want to be in X amount of time is not here. And that was my sentiment back when I was a teen. Well, fuck. When I was around 10 years older, after that question was asked me, I vividly remember I had it. I was hitting my rock bottom, and I wanted to get the fuck out of Albuquerque. I had this hunch that it wasn't doing me any good living there, and that, you know, maybe in a different culture, a different climate, I would be able to thrive better and maybe fix my shit. Well, that didn't work out. I ran out of gas. I wasn't even halfway there and I ran out of gas, and I didn't have any fucking money, so that wasn't very well thought out. Hell, even recently I tried to at least I wasn't trying to get out of New Mexico, but I was at least trying to get out of Albuquerque. This was about 3 years ago, before properties spiked in value, and yeah, I tried to get out of Albuquerque again, and it all fell through the last 3 days. My broker or whatever, some shitheel, he fucked up the numbers somehow, and I insisted you had to have fucked up the numbers. It was 3 days before we were supposed to close, and I couldn't secure this fucking loan for the fucking property. I was like, you have to be fucking up the numbers somewhere, right? Like, what the fuck, dude? Oh no, I don't ever fuck up the numbers. I've been doing this for decades. I don't ever fuck up the numbers. Well, I got a mail like 3 months later. He fucked up the numbers. Instead of a 0, he put instead of a 2 at one spot that mattered, he put a fucking 0, like an idiot. And that fucked up the whole deal. Like, how the fuck do you go all the way across your keyboard and fuck it up that hard? God, I was so pissed off. But on the back end, selling the house I was living in back then, because I had timed everything perfectly to where I would close on the house I was trying to buy 1 week before the contract on my house finished up. So I would have 1 week overlapping residency between the two places that I could hurry up and fucking take the week off, move all my shit in 1 week, and fucking like that, be out almost instantly. 1 fucking week move, everything gone. And I sold a bunch of shit, threw a bunch of shit away. I was prepared for this. I liquidated Bitcoin at the time. Oh God, there were so many moving parts, and oh man, it was months of work I put into that shit, and it all fell through in the last 3 days. Yeah, on the front end, that fucker, the broker, fucked up the numbers. On the back end, it turned out the guy was some fucking scam artist, and he actually threatened, because he wanted me to knock like 10 grand off the price because of this or that. I was like, okay, fine. I'll be kind of at a loss. I'll end up having to pay like 2 grand or something to transfer the property over to you, but as long as you pay these fees and this. And he's like, yeah, that's good. And then he came back, oh, I need to lower it 10 grand more. I'm like, dude, I'm not paying 12 grand to give you this house. Like, fucking seriously? And he's like, no, there's a carbon monoxide leak in your house. So I got a carbon monoxide detector, placed it on all the fucking vents, didn't get anything. called even, and he said, "Oh, that's not good." And I even called a HVAC company, had a guy come out, test everything, write a report. I paid $200 for that, and I sent him the report. I was like, "How about this? There is no carbon monoxide being leaked in my house. Like it was undetectable with everything running." And so he sent me this thing that was like pretty much like, lower the price on your property by 10 grand and sell it to me for that, or we're going to get in contact with utilities companies and tell them that your property is dangerous and they're going to cut all your utilities until you fix some of these things on your house. So either it was pretty much blackmail, like fix the shit on your property, or we're going to, and I told him, "Man, you're not going to fucking do that. We're going to have some fucking problems if you go and do that." Like, I had the dude's name, right? And and this is the unfortunate thing about Albuquerque, man. Shit like this happens often over there. At least to me it did. And I would get to this point where I'm like about to snap because of this shit. And when I tell people, back then, when I used to tell people, when I lived in Albuquerque, when I used to tell people on the phone, like, we're going to have some problems, in my mind, that meant, I know where you are, I'm going to come and get fucking violent. Because in my mind, I would weigh, like, what do I have to lose versus how important is it to me that if you follow through with this bullshit and you keep fucking making this be a situation, how much is it worth to me to make an example out of this situation for everybody to see? And that sucks, because the stuff that I dealt with in Albuquerque, it felt like the only way sometimes that I might be able to communicate to the world is by doing something like that. And that's a terrible position to be in. I just got done ranting about this to some of my admins on my Discord server. It's a terrible position to be in, to just like be pushed so far to the edge, so close to the edge of going postal because of people fucking with you, that and being unheard all the time, and just being treated like nothing, feeling like, man, the only way that I can feel better from this, the only way I feel like I can communicate to the world that creating this sort of situation for someone to exist in is wrong, is by getting violent. Definitely either ending up in prison or neutralized by the police. And like, this was a recurring theme for me. This isn't what I jumped to initially on anything, but consistently some shit would go down over there because of someone's incompetence and or cutthroat behavior, where that's how it felt, man. Like, that would be the only way I could get things to work, because things were not working. And then what's even worse, all right, is when I was getting ready to move and I was actually getting goddamn close to, it looked like things were going to work out and I was finally going to get out of Albuquerque. That's this move that I just executed. It was starting to look like, yeah, I think this is going to fucking work. I think I'm finally going to get the fuck out of here. It was both exciting and terrifying because I didn't know anything else. And I still barely know anything else. I'm working hard on trying to assimilate over here. The first week one of the days was a little rough, but I'll get into that. I'll get into that later. What I was saying is, yeah, what's fucked up is when it started looking like it was gonna work. It was gonna fucking pop off. Everything was starting to come into place. Oh man, but believe me, it was a fucking pain in the ass. Oh, let me tell you, it felt like, because there was some information I needed the state of New Mexico to release so that I could come over here, and oh fuck, dude, like, oh, it felt like they were trying to keep me hostage. Like they were trying to prevent me from moving out of the state because nobody could get me into contact with this person that could release this fucking information. And it was a fucking one-page document. They just had to change some things on a goddamn template and put it in. And that's all I fucking needed, man. And that was the only thing holding me up from moving for like weeks. And nobody could get me in contact with this mysterious fucking person. People said she stopped coming into the office weeks ago, and nobody knows where she is, and there's no way to get a hold of her, and all this shit. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? So finally, somebody, I forget who it was, suggested, I just start climbing up the chain. And it took me delving. I actually had to call another state to investigate for me who this person's superior was, get me that guy's contact information, so then I could hit him up, because none of this is publicly listed in New Mexico. It's fucking insane. It really is. So I finally get a hold of this guy after having to deal with another state who has their shit together, who is in this association with my old state. Got a hold of them. They got me his contact information after some information dredging. I hit him up and I'm like, hey, what's the deal? And he was fucking surprised I managed to get a hold of him. Because you're not really supposed to. And so, I don't know, this is conjecture, but maybe he was just thinking like, holy shit, this guy got a hold of me, I better fucking, who knows what else this guy is capable of, right? Who knows who else he might call my superior next, whatever. So I lit a fire under their asses. He lit a fire under her ass. All of a sudden, she magically appears in the fucking office. But for some reason, she has like this fucking amnesia thing where every fucking day she forgets. She forgets everything from the previous day that fucking happened. I had fucking multiple conversations with this woman day after day, and she would consistently forget who the fuck I was and what I needed. And it was this thing where like I had to stand out because I would make jokes. I made sure I fucking stood out. That's what I always do with customer service reps and all this shit. And like, I make sure that I'm like one of those guys that they might talk to people all over dinner about that evening, right? I put on a fucking performance for people on the phone. Because I've found out, and I just automatically do this whenever I'm on the phone now, because I get rewarded for it, right? And so when you get rewarded for something, it's easy to just like start to automatically go to it. I guess it's kind of a manipulative tactic, but I guess, I don't know. It's kind of beneficial because I make people's lives interesting by having good conversation with them, give them something to talk about later in the day, and then I get my shit done because they fucking remember me. People always remember me on the phone because I put on a fucking performance for them. Well, this chick had some fucking amnesia problem. I'm sure it was all feigned. It was probably just not convenient to remember who the fuck I am, because then she would have to do her fucking job. But God, weeks it took me to extract this one-page fucking document from the state. It's insane, the shit I had to deal with over there. God, it's such a pain in the ass. What was I even ranting about? What started me on that? Oh yeah, as I was getting closer, I get so tangential, dude. As I was getting closer to things finally looking like the stars were gonna fucking align, and I did all this hard work. I told you that story about the woman and I had to get her superior just now. Dude, that was like every facet of everything I was fucking dealing with. Oh God. I finally twisted and mangled everything so the stars looked like they were about to align. And people all around me started telling me, oh, it's the same everywhere you go. Oh, you can't get away from this kind of stuff. Because I told them, I'm trying to get away from this shithole where you can't get anything done. Shit is so fucking bureaucratic and ridiculous. Like, it's impossible to get a hold of people. People don't want to do their fucking jobs. On top of that, I live in the fucking ghetto where people are always murdering each other. Like, I call in a homicide and the police text message me 2.5 hours later like, hey, sorry, we're running late. Is it still going down? It's like, you fucking check, dude. I told you someone's gonna die tonight. Like, why haven't you showed up? Why are you texting me? Go pick up the dead body. It's your job. Like, fuck. And that is a real story from over there. But the strange thing is, you have a naked chick in your front yard tearing her hair out by herself, screaming, get off of me, to nobody. You call the police, they show up in 2 minutes. But homicide in progress, man, that's kind of too much work for us right now. It's fucking insane. But yeah, that chick in my front yard, I went out because I thought I was going to rescue a chick from getting raped. And I went out and I was like, what the fuck? That chick's just by herself. What the fuck? And this guy scooted on by. He was coming from down the street on his bike when I first went outside, and he scooted on by looking at the scene. He saw me standing like 30 feet away from this chick that's in my front yard looking at her like, what the fuck? And she's screaming, get off of me, without any clothes on, just screaming. And he looks at me and she's like, damn, she's tripping, dog. I was like, yeah, tell me about it. And then I ran back inside and called the police because I was like, I don't want to be anywhere fucking near this shit. And sure, anyways, people would tell me, oh, it's the same anywhere you go. You can't get away from it. There's no sense in leaving. There's no sense in trying to go find something else. It's like, how do you fucking tell somebody that who's in a desperate fucking situation, has been for decades, you know, at least a decade, and has been clawing, trying to get out of the fucking situation, telling them, there ain't no point trying to get out of the fucking situation, man. Oh, it's going to be the same anywhere you end up. How the fuck you go and tell somebody that shit? I don't know. I guess they just can't understand the gravity of what I had been through, the shit that I experienced there. I don't know. Some of those people lived in the same shithole fucking neighborhood, ghetto ass piece of murderous shit fucking neighborhood that I lived in. But some other people on the internet, acquaintances, some of which fell off since I started improving my life, coincidental, told me like, oh, no sense in going anywhere. Maybe they just didn't understand how fucking terrible it was for me. For me, I don't know. Maybe other people would thrive in that kind of environment. Maybe it's great for other people, but me, it wore on me so hard. It got so far under my skin. I'm still trying to pull it out. And that's what prompted me to make this video. I'm still dealing with shit, bullshit, stupid shit from out there. Utility company is still sending me bills for this property I haven't even been living at. They're still sending me bills. I'm paid up on my end. I don't know what the fuck your problem is. I don't know why you're still sending me fucking bills. It's not my fucking responsibility. And so I'm hitting up all these people like, what's the deal? And nobody can figure anything out. Nobody knows why they're claiming I owe them money. Nobody knows why this, why that. Nobody knows why the account's still open. I don't know. It's not my problem. Yeah. And they're really fortunate that, like, I don't live in a place where I feel like I'm getting pushed constantly by cutthroat shit done by incompetent people. Like over here, shit. It was so fucking easy. It was so easy to secure this rental property. It was so easy to get all the utilities transferred over. It was like a 1-day thing. Well, boom, boom, boom. Everything done. And then I had a problem with my internet. They came out the next fucking day. And they fixed it. And now it's good. Everything's good. As soon as I have a problem with anything, they fucking fix it. I submitted the shit that I got from my state that took me weeks to get together. Just that one fucking page. All the other papers took me like a month and a half to amass. Fucking ridiculous. It took me like a month and a half or some shit to amass. God, I was pulling teeth with those fucking people. Finally submitted it to the state that I live in. They approved it within 12 hours. Where I'm from, that would have taken months. Probably. At least 1 month. It would have taken them to like read through all that shit. Boom, they got it done in 1 fucking day up here. Boom. Everything you ask for here gets done. And when they fuck up, they fix it. It's fucking amazing. And you know what? I can leave a shovel in my front yard. I can leave a shovel and a rake in my front yard for a whole fucking week and it won't disappear. You know how I know this? Because I left a fucking hose worth $70, a fucking garden hose worth $70 out there in the front for a whole fucking week, and it didn't even disappear. It's like fucking magic to me. It's magic to me that shit doesn't disappear. It's a magic trick for something to not disappear here. Can you comprehend how fucking amazing that is to me? Because like, even if shit is bolted down where I'm from, it'll fucking disappear. They stole my wrought iron gate. They stole fucking cushions I left out for cats that cats had vomited, shitted, and pissed on and fucked on for weeks. And they were willing to steal those. That was like fucking gold to them. Oh yeah, thanks for the pads, chump ass cats. It's like, man, motherfucker, I left those for the fucking stray cats, man. It was a surprise nobody stole their food dish. For some reason, that thing never disappeared. Stainless steel food dish for the cats. I fucking hate cats. I really fucking hate cats. But god damn it, I see a cat sleeping on my fucking front porch in fucking winter. And I'm like, man, I fucking hate you. But you don't even deserve this. It's not your fault, right? It's not your fault, you're a fucking piece of shit. So it's humans' faults, right? They can control their shit. All those burqueños that fuck everything up all the time, that got under my skin and made me make a call like, hey, we're gonna have some problems. They could change. Cats, it's not their fault they're born a cat. So I put cushions and food and water out for them and shit. But I still fucking hate them. I don't like cats. Nope. But still, these motherfuckers stealing these old ass cushions I left out for the cats. What the fuck, dude? You can't leave something completely destroyed and broken. That was one nice thing, because if you wanted to get rid of something that was complete trash, you just leave it on the curb and it'll disappear in a couple days. But hell, over there you could even just leave it in your front yard. You wouldn't even have to drag it all the way out to the curb. It would disappear. So it's definitely nice. I haven't heard a single fucking shooting the whole time I've been here. I haven't seen anybody getting assaulted. I haven't tended any stab victims. I don't feel a compelling desire to wear my stab vest and be fully armed when I go outside. I actually, it's night right now. Right now it's 10 p.m. and I do walk Klaus this late. If he wants to go on a walk, I'll take him at 10 o'clock at night. Whereas where I used to live, like, I didn't ever do that shit. Because, like, there's like serial stabbings and serial shootings where people just like drive around and shoot at or ride around on a bike and fucking stab random people for fun. So it's like, you know, this house isn't encased in iron like my old fortress was. And it doesn't need to be. Like, nothing happens here. My neighbors were just telling me that there was somebody checking handles on cars here like months ago. And the police actually went door to door asking people for information. Which is cool. Like, out in Albuquerque, they wouldn't even show up. They wouldn't even give a fuck. Just like, hey, you know, when they steal your car, call us and maybe we'll look for it. Or hey, if they break into your house and try to kill you, we might show up and take you to jail for killing them. You know? So, it's crazy to me. The guy that gave me my haircut, I told him a little bit of information of what it's like, where I came from, and he pegged me as like a hardened criminal or something, because he was like, you better be careful around here, brother. He was like, you better be careful around here, because the cops will scoop you up right away. And I was like, yeah, okay. And he kept telling me, even as he was leaving the parking lot, because he's like an on-demand barber where you just like call him and he'll show up and do it. He was leaving the parking lot when I was, and he just kept telling me, you be careful, man. Watch out for the cops, dude. I'm like, yeah, okay. Well, I'm clean now. Like, I don't do anything. Probably the worst thing I've done here this whole time is going 11 miles an hour over the speed limit. I don't even speed like I used to in Albuquerque. Because Albuquerque, you go 30 over everywhere in order to make the lights. Because they time the lights to where you have to go 30 miles an hour over the speed limit in most areas to make the next light. Otherwise, you'll be sitting at every single fucking light. And I know a guy that wrote a letter to the state about that. And they said, oh, yeah, no, we time it that way on purpose. It's for pedestrian safety. Imagine that. Isn't that fucking rich? We time the lights so that you have to go 30 miles an hour over the speed limit to make the next light. And that's for pedestrian safety. That place is so fucking insane, dude. It's so insane that fucking long after you moved away from there, they're still hitting you up trying to get money. For nothing. Place is fucking insane, dude. I can't wait till I'm done dealing with that place. I still have so many loose ends that nobody wants to fucking wrap up for me. And I hit people up about it. Nobody wants to wrap it up for me. I'm like, man, this better not fucking affect my credit score. Now, I can't say there's going to be some problems in the same manner that I used to, right? With the same thoughts in my head. Because the place I live in is so much better for mental stability, man. But, like, seriously, what the fuck? I don't know what I could do about it. But if shit, I'll report the companies for fraud, I guess. If it does start impacting my credit score, I'm gonna report it as fraudulent activity and start fucking reporting motherfuckers to the Better Business Bureau or some shit. For fucking starting to tank my credit score for shit I don't fucking owe them. Cause like, I paid my bills up to like a week or two after I left. So there's nothing that I owe anybody for anything over there. And they're still hitting me up. It's fucking insane, dude. That place would drive you nuts. Somebody told me, one of my friends, good guy. I just don't think he knows any different. I don't know. I didn't even. I was terrified of leaving. I was afraid. I was like, damn. But anyways, this guy, he told me when I was driving out here, he was like, hey man, just be sure to tell everybody out there the good things about Albuquerque. And I'm like, man, there isn't. Like, what do I tell them? Give me something good to say about it. And he couldn't come up with anything. I'm like, there is nothing fucking good about the fucking place. The city sucks. Like, I'll admit, the natural areas around the city are great. They're beautiful. It's fun to explore. I liked walking through the desert. All the videos I made, hiking and stuff with Klaus. Like, yeah, I love all that stuff. But that has nothing to do with the city. The people there didn't fucking create that shit. It's been there for millennia. Like, nature created that shit. That has nothing to do with how great Albuquerque is. Nothing. Albuquerque could not be there. It could cease to exist. And all that stuff would still be there. And be just as awesome as it is. Be a natural fucking beauty. The way it is. Without Albuquerque being a fucking shithole right there. Everybody in Albuquerque could die today. And all the good stuff about the surrounding area that I have to say would keep existing. So, I can't think of anything good to say about the fucking place. I don't know. There's a lot of dilapidated shit to go look at. There's a natural history museum. That's cool, but I mean, you could go to one of those in any state. I don't know. I'm at a loss of really good things to say about it. There's some good people there. Like, some of my friends that I left there, they exist over there. But there's good people everywhere. And that's not exclusive to Albuquerque. Those specific individuals are exclusive to Albuquerque. But somebody who doesn't know those individuals, would it be worth it to go over there to try to meet those specific individuals that I know about? No, it wouldn't be worth the time. Sorry guys. You guys are awesome and stuff, but I would not recommend somebody go out of their way to Albuquerque for a chance to possibly meet you on the street or whatever. Because of all the shit that would come with it. I came across this video of this guy that does 1-star hotel reviews or something. There was one kind of near my area. It wasn't quite a bit nicer area than where I used to live. It was like on the border of the shithole that I lived in. Where it starts getting bad, but that 1-star hotel he reviewed wasn't even in the bad part, and he got plenty of content to make it look fucking terrible. So that should tell you just how fucking awful it was living where I lived. It was like, I tell people, because people where I live now just can't even comprehend how bad it was. I tell them some stories and they look at me like trying to figure out if I'm just completely fucking lying to them, or they just like can't comprehend that kind of situation, or like it's almost like I'm telling them about a dragon I saw yesterday. That's the kind of look they get on their face. Like like this look of disbelief and like thinking I'm blowing smoke up their ass or something when I'm telling them a 100% true story. I'm not just like telling tall tales, but like people here can't comprehend that a place like that exists in the US. So tying back into people on the internet who told me, oh, it's the same anywhere you go, maybe that's how they are. Maybe they just can't comprehend that what I'm telling them is true, is fact, is how things happen. I don't know. And then the people who live back where I'm from, maybe the ones over there that told me, oh, it's the same anywhere you go, just have no concept of what things could be because they've lived there their entire lives. They're just used to it or something. I don't know how anybody could ever fucking get used to that shit. Ugh. Like that place, for me anyway, maybe they're those individuals that thrive in such an environment. I know I worked with a lot of people in the past that never checked their paychecks. They didn't even know whether they were getting fucked over or not, and they didn't care to know. And in some cases, some of those people, I looked at their shit, and I'm like, you're getting fucked. They're skimming shit off the top here, and they still didn't care. They're like, yeah, you gotta do math for that, though. I did the fucking math. Oh, God. So, what I'm doing is... Oh, yeah. Well, should I touch on that? Nah, I think I'll leave that alone. But what I'm doing now is doing my best to assimilate. There's whole new lingo over here. I'm trying to just like sit back and observe how people do some things so that I can emulate them. So because what I don't want to do, and I hear people in a lot of places complain about this, is that like foreigners come in and fuck the place up because they bring their fucked up place they ran from to where they went. And then that place gets fucked up. Surprise, surprise. So what I'm trying to do here is not do that. Because I give a fuck about this place it's just like, sometimes I feel bad for these people that they don't know how great it is here. Sometimes I feel like I'm surrounded by a bunch of innocent children. All these people around here, it's hard for me to imagine that they have secrets darker than the reality I've lived. Because everybody says, oh yeah, everybody has a dark past or has dark secrets and stuff. Like, I can't imagine just about anybody here has secrets as dark as the reality that I've lived in for so long. So I feel like a lot of the time I'm just surrounded by a bunch of innocent and naive children, pretty much. Like, they don't even know. They don't even know how bad things can be. And in some ways, I'm scared for them. Some ways I feel bad for them. And other ways, I feel bad for being here. Because I'm like, fuck, man. All these people have lived here their whole lives, and this is all they've known. And then there's me on the block. And I come from some wicked shit. And what's normal to me that I don't want to be normal anymore is just like fucking insane alien shit to them. And so, yeah, I've been doing my best to assimilate. I sit back, and I don't want to bring the shithole that I ran from to here, and I don't want to make this place like that at all. And that's not even just for my sake. It's for everybody here, because I think this place is really special, and it should be preserved the way it is, as much as possible. I mean, it's a heavily Christian area. So I mean, what I'm gonna say, I mean completely independently of that, because I'm not Christian. But I feel like this place is almost like sacred, because it's like, I don't know how the rest of the US is. Maybe most of the US is like this place. But I feel like because I'm from a place where this kind of thing is non-existent, at best extremely scarce. I feel like this place is a last bastion of hope of what America should be. And I want it to stay like that. I want it to stay being what I imagine America should be. Because, like, yeah, people don't make as much money here. In that way, it's a little poorer than where I'm from, though there is more money here, which is weird to me. But oh, where was I going with that? I don't even know. But yeah, my first week here, one of the days was rough, man, because the first day I got here, I drove through the night. I left Albuquerque at 5:30 p.m. and I got here in the morning. And man, it was rough, because I got here and people like to just stand around and talk here. Whereas like in Albuquerque, it's like there's this era of unease all the time. You gotta get going. You know, don't want to talk to this. Everybody's kind of shady, you know. Here it's just like everyone's open, just like, hey, I'm gonna chill and talk to you. So I got here after the chaos of driving with 2 dogs in the cab all across the country all night, tired as fuck. And I was eating ghost pepper to stay awake. God, and I was like, I was only half here. I was like a ghost. I felt like I was dreaming. And the landlord and their whole family showed up to greet me. Because I paid for this place in advance. I took so many gambles. Like, I was like, I'm just going to gamble on the decency of Americans out where I'm going to live, because that's what I hope the place is like. I had no expectations. I expected it to be the same as the shithole I came from, just with prettier scenery, because I like trees. But what I got was completely different. Yeah, I showed up and the landlord and their whole fucking family is here, and they're like, hi! And they wanted to be friendly with Klaus, and he's used to little hood rats fucking throwing rocks at him and people shooting each other and stuff, so he was like, rah, 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 rah. I was like, don't mind him. He won't be a problem, I promise. Like, sorry. He comes from a bad place. He doesn't know any better yet. And fucking... and, like, they wanted to hang out and talk and all this stuff. And I'm like, man, it took so much effort to, like, hold it together and not have a fucking freak out. And just be like, get the fuck out of my face! I need to go fucking sleep! What? I was like, alright. After like an hour and a half of hanging out, I was like, alright, I'm gonna, I think, started unloading my truck, and like they still kept talking to me, and I was unloading, and then one of them was still in here messing with the cabinets, doing shit. I don't know what the fuck she was doing, but like I got my computer set up here, I got my bed set up, and she was still here messing with stuff. I was like, I asked her some stuff about the place, and I was still terrified, really. And I was like, you think my computer's good here? You think people are gonna see in the window and like try to break in the place? Or, and she just looked at me like I was from another planet or something, and she's like, I think you're good. I was like, okay, how is this place? Is there a lot of crime? Or, and she's like, well, this place isn't too bad. And I was like, oh, so it's like the Northeast Heights of Albuquerque, where like, you know, it's not likely you'll get murdered, but it's still a chance. Fuck no. I went down to the bad part of my town, the bad part, and it's like the really good part of Albuquerque. And that's the rough area. So, yeah, I asked her. She didn't give me a whole lot of reassurance, because, like, her definition of bad is completely different than mine. So, ultimately, I was like, I'm fading fast. You know, I'm not feeling too good. 'Cause I drove all through the night. I feel really bad. So I have my bed set up. I don't have my sheets on it yet, but I'm gonna go to sleep. And I locked myself and the dogs in the master bedroom and went to sleep. And I don't know, at some point, I don't even know how long I slept. Probably a while. But I woke up and the sun was in a different position. And looked around, and I don't know, she saw herself out and locked everything behind her. So that was cool. Yeah, so that was rough for me, because I'm not used to people being all friendly like that, and yeah, I was panicking a little bit, because it's like, why the fuck are these people still here? And I was getting upset. So you know, I just took another risk, and I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna go to sleep while they're still here, and fucking, I can't take it anymore. I have to go to sleep. Because it was like, God, it's hard to put into words, like how big of a change of environment. The climate was completely different. The environment, the culture, everything shifted completely after staying up all fucking night driving. It was just like surreal. It was crazy. And then, yeah, I don't know. A few days later, I don't know when exactly it was, but I had a little bit of a breakdown, because, like, oh yeah, it was the day after this incident. And it wasn't even an incident. I made it an incident in my head. Some weird noise happened in the front yard or something. I don't know. It was probably someone closing their car door or something. But I'm used to being fucking on edge and paranoid. So was Klaus. He jumped up and was like, what the fuck is that? And I'm like, yeah, what the fuck is that? And I grabbed my fucking gun and I went outside, and there's nothing going on. It was all peaceful, crickets chirping. And there weren't even cars going by on the main street that I live by. There was just nothing, dead silent. But I was having a flashback, right, from the high intensity fucking area that I used to live in, where like, if you hear something you think is something, it's definitely something, and something's gonna fucking happen. Well, there was nothing, but I was convinced there was something, so I was running around with my gun like, what the fuck is it? And I was like, I couldn't find a threat, and I was like, okay. everything's fine. So I went inside, unloaded my gun, and I calmed Klaus down. And then, yeah, the next day, I had a little bit of a freak out because I was like, fuck, I had a flashback last night, kind of how they depict, I guess, but different. Kind of how they depict, like, you know, people who have been to war. And I'm not, like, trying to compare this in any way, because I'm sure it's a completely different animal. But, like, someone who was at war, like, years later, having a flashback, how it's depicted in some films, it was kind of like that, but God, it felt like shit. I was like ready for the piece that I thought I had found to be torn down and, like, be back in the same shit like people said I would be. And, yeah, I was thinking back to that, and I was like, fuck. And, God, I just felt like shit all day, because, like, I knew, I was certain that something was going down, right, but nothing was, and I knew that that was just a product of what I had dealt with for so long, and the disconnect between what I thought was reality because of where I came from versus what the real reality was, it was just like such a steep drop off that just sitting there and looking at it, I don't know if from a philosophical standpoint or something, just looking at it and acknowledging that steep drop off of a difference. It just did something to me, and I didn't do well that day. I didn't do well at all. And so I just, up until then I was working on getting settled in here and stuff. That day I just took the day off from everything, and I just kind of like isolated, and I burned that day. I was not well, which is crazy. You would think that, like, well, I guess before I moved here, I had a hunch that it might be a little difficult for me to adjust to there not always being, like, chaos and violence and shit going on, and constant threats and stuff. But I didn't think it would hit me like a brick like that. I thought I would have, you know, little disconnects here and there and stuff, but it hit me like a brick and it broke me for a day. Which is fucking insane to think about, how, like, coming from such a bad situation, and then going into how things should be, and it negatively affecting you to be in what should be a normal situation. Yeah, that's pretty fucked up, I guess. But since that day, I've taken joy in being able to let my hair down, so to speak, and just, like, relax. Like, I was talking to my neighbor just a little bit ago about how I'm just so fucking amazed that he has this floor jack that's like $300 just sitting in his driveway, and it just sits there. And it sits there. And he was like, oh yeah, I've left that there for like over a year or something. And I was like, that's just so fucking amazing to me, dude. Like, my jaw drops at so much of this shit that I'm getting to experience, and I appreciate every moment of it. I even appreciate the little birds that are around here because they're so fucking funny. And I have this coworker that he seems to get a real kick out of how much joy I find in this place. It was like we were driving and I was like, oh, what the fuck is that? And he's like, oh, that's a river. And I'm like, well, what the fuck? There's fucking barges on it, dude. Because I had seen barges on one of the rivers here, but not like that. They were like fucking lined up and going and stuff, and it was this huge, it was like this beautiful fucking scene, but with like industrial stuff mixed in it. I was like, that's fucking awesome, and I took a picture of it. I was fucking amazed. Like, we just came around this bend and there's this whole fucking scene of stuff going on that's like cool and interesting to look at. I was like, what the fuck? And like little birds will like run around and do funny stuff with each other, and I'll just fucking bust out laughing about it. And yeah, I'll look over to him and see if he's seeing what I'm seeing, and he's not. He's just looking forward with this sideways grin, like, oh, there goes that Western boy again, going off about something he's getting a kick out of about this place. But yeah, like, every day, I enjoy every day. Like, that video that I posted the other day of all the forests and stuff, that's just a regular day here, man. Like, there's so much driving through woods and stuff to do here. God, this one entryway to the town that I live in is just so beautiful. It's like this beautiful arch of natural fucking beauty, dude, that you like go through, and it's like you're entering this portal into the fucking Truman Show. It's so fucking great, because that's what this town is like. It's like the goddamn Truman Show, I swear. Like, I go to this fucking gardening spot in this town, and I go to the register, right, and I pay for some potting soil, right? And I go around in my car to the other side of the property, and they don't communicate or anything. Like, they don't have walkie-talkies or anything. And I go around to the side to the person, and they just ask me what I bought. They don't look at the receipt or anything. And I tell them, and they load it in my car. And, like, they do this every day. And that just blows my fucking mind. Like, this place is like the fucking Truman Show. Their whole potting soil and fertilizer spot is like all on an honor system. And it works. Their business is still thrivingly in business because everybody's fucking honest about it. Oh man, I wish... like I said, maybe most of America is like this, but I hope it is. If it's not, I wish all of America could be like this, because this is the wonderful nature that I think could exist here. And this place gets bad raps for some reason, for like racism and homophobia and stuff, and I haven't seen any of that. I mean, black people, Asians, Hispanics, they all live like scattered all throughout this area, and everybody interacts with each other like regular humans. So I haven't seen any of that. I think it just has a reputation. But I think they keep it that way. I think they just don't bother dispelling that idea too much. because they don't take too kindly to liberals. They don't take too kindly to people who have this identity politics bullshit where they want to like witch burn anybody that might make a fucking joke or something, right? Like, yeah, some of my leftist friends might have a hard time here just because they can't stand America being a certain way that's not fucked up or something. Like, yeah, because I did tell a couple of my leftist friends some things, and they were just like appalled, like about a lot of nuclear families staying together and stuff here. They just couldn't fucking. No, that's terrible. Oh, you mean the woman is a slave? It's like, well, you know what? You want people to fucking. Divorce is necessary for marriage. It seems like that's, and I don't want to get too political, but it seems like that's a lot of their perspectives. That is just like so terrible to see a couple still married who has kids. And I've seen them spam all this like, oh, parents should get divorced and shit like that. It's like, man, you're just like trying to destroy everything, aren't you? You're just like trying to tear down the fabric of everything underneath you, aren't you? Which is insane to me. So like I described to them a place where things work, where things go smoothly, and it's like sacrilege to them. Well, yeah, they should stay the fuck out of this place. All for the better. Cause yeah, this place is fucking rad, dude. For once I can feel comfortable. I can drive my car at whatever speed I want and not be concerned about possibly getting carjacked. I can leave my house during the workday without always watching the security system to make sure nothing's going down so that I can rush home if it is. You know, and I get home and the dogs are chill because nothing bad is happening out in the street. Nothing out there is upsetting them. It's just quiet here all day. And they get to just sleep the whole day away. Nice and peacefully. I get home and they're not balls of nerves like they used to be. It used to be like that. And you know, Klaus is right here. I've been saying his name, but he is so chill now. He is so well adjusted. We still have some work to do on him, but he is so well adjusted that I can just talk about him, and he doesn't even feel the need to go check out what's going on, why I'm talking about him or anything like that, because he's like so chill now. He's picking up on the vibe of this place. But yeah, all of you SJWs and liberals and stuff, you stay the fuck out of this place because we don't like you. But at least I don't. Look at me already speaking for everybody. I don't like you. And I think if you moved here, you would help fuck this place up. So please don't move here. And yeah, stay the fuck out. Because I want this place to stay how it is. It's a happy place. And hopefully, I'm going to see how I can weather out the summer. Everybody says here that the summer is the worst part of this place. If I can weather out the summer and survive through it in my industry, then yeah, after the summer, I'm going to buy a place and farm my own food. And if it doesn't have a pond on the property already, probably dig a pond, figure out where all the water's running to, and dig a big old hole right there. And I've been thinking about this, man, because you know I'm vegan. I've been thinking about this really good and hard. Now, I would like to go fishing in my pond, but not have fish that can actually get caught. See, this is my conundrum, all right? I love fishing. So if I have a pond that doesn't have any fish in it, I can go fishing without hurting anybody, right? But the thing is, if I don't have fish in my fucking pond, I'll have to look into this more. But if I don't have fish in my fucking pond, I'm gonna have a goddamn mosquito problem. Little fish like to eat mosquito larvae, like the fathead minnow and regular minnows and different kinds of goldfish and all kinds of different other shit. God damn it, I can't remember. I looked at this long list of fish that eat mosquito larvae. Mosquitoes and tadpoles, that's not a fish. Minnow, bluegill, that's another one. Those get a little big though, and so they would bite a lure. I don't want that. I don't want that to happen, because that would hurt them. So, little minnows maybe. Yeah, catfish, bass, minnow. No catfish, no bass, no bluegill. So tadpoles and minnows. I don't know, I guess frogs will come by. Anyways, I'm just thinking out loud at this point. Mosquito fish. Yeah, that's another one. Yeah, mosquito fish. So anyways, I asked some coworkers in case I do go this route, and I'm like, hey, you know where I can buy some fucking minnows? And they're like, the bait shop. And I'm like, yeah, do they sell them live? And they're like, well, they sure shit ain't dead. I'm like, okay, well, if I go that route, I might get minnows from a bait shop, which I'm sure they would appreciate, because like then they won't end up with a hook in their face to try to bait another fish. But at the same time, I'd be supporting the fucking bait fish industry financially, and also at the same time, I would be using animals for a problem that I want to get rid of, that I don't really need to create in the first place. And then also, there'd be the whole problem of keeping them alive in winter, and also if my pond dries up. So I would probably like keep the pond for a year and see if at any point it dries up, then I won't get fish. But if it doesn't dry up, then maybe get fish. But I'm still trying to figure out how to go about that, being vegan and all. Because I would like to go fishing in my pond, but not hurt any fish. Because I like fishing. It's fun. I really like fly fishing. I like fly fishing. I even like lure fishing. I have this specific lure. I'm not going to tell you guys what it is, because I know most of you use it to actually catch fish, but I have this specific lure that was the fucking best lure, man. I catch so many fucking fish of all different species with it. Oh, fuck. Every fish loves that fucking lure, and I like it too. The drag is just perfect. It looks so pretty going through the fucking water, and it's just like, oh, it feels so good fucking casting it. It has the perfect amount of weight for good long casts. God, and it's drag, and it just feels so perfect, and it's a response when it gets bit is just fucking perfect. So you could just get it just right. Oh man, that lure is sick. They sell them everywhere. So I would definitely like to get a ultralight rod and use one of them lures in a pond without any fish. Yeah. I don't know if anyone's ever seen Stargate SG-1, but the captain or leader guy, whatever. Yeah, whenever he has vacation leave, he spends it at a cabin right next to a pond that doesn't have any fishing. He'll sit there with bait and a bobber all day in a pond that he knows there aren't any fish. Fishing in a pond without fish. I think that'd be a hell of a lot of fun. But anyway, that is if I can make it through the summer. If not, then I'll fucking move somewhere else. But I think I should be able to stand it. I've survived so many other things. So many other things. Way worse conditions, in my opinion. So I think I can weather the summers here. Because I've been through, I think, a lot more than that. But anyway, I'm glad to be here. There's so much I can't put into words. I did my best to do a lot of it justice in this video. But I just can't express the whole bulk of it, because there's like so much. But yeah, if anyone else is living in a shithole like I was, where life is cheap and your shit disappears, the cops don't even care about a homicide in progress, and everybody you deal with is fucking crooked, where you feel like possibly the only way you can communicate to the world is to kill somebody. Don't listen to people who tell you, oh, it's the same anywhere else. Oh, you might as well not move. So it's something with them, man. They either don't know how it is anywhere else, or they don't know exactly what the fuck you're living in. Or a more nefarious angle is possibly they might just want you to stay there so that they can watch you in a shitty situation so they can feel better about theirs. Maybe that's why some people told me that shit. Possibly. Might be why some of those people don't talk to me anymore already. Maybe those ones that don't talk to me anymore actually wanted me to remain in this shitty situation for their own personal mental gains. I don't trust anybody. I don't trust you. I trust Klaus. Well, no, I don't actually. So I always make sure. Anyways, I could go on a whole nother fucking tangent about walking my dog around the fucking block, but I don't think anybody wants to hear it. And look at that. I'm an hour and a half into this shit. You just watched a whole fucking movie if you made it this far. I hope it was worth it. Until next time, hopefully I have some more interesting content for us to review together at some point. Like maybe the food I'm growing, which is doing well. I haven't even watered it for a couple days and it's still alive, which is just fucking miraculous to me. It's amazing. Well, fuck. I haven't watered this shit in like 3 days and it's still alive. Oh, this place is gold. This place is fucking golden, dude. Well, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.